Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Today we're looking at a paper trending on X, published on February 11th, 2026, about 5 days ago. It reveals a critical security flaw in how trusted execution environments protect large language models, demonstrating that attackers can recover a layer's secrets from a Llama 3.8b model in just 6 minutes. The paper is titled, Vulnerabilities in Partial T-Shielded LLM Inference with Precomputed Noise. And, as we'll see later, the implications for securing model intellectual property on edge devices are massive. Table 1 details the mask offload restore pattern that makes these systems vulnerable. On the left, you see frameworks like ShadowNet, CellAP, and TransLink Guard. They all start by masking input data inside the trusted environment, often using additive noise or secret permutations before sending it to the GPU for processing. The vulnerability reveals itself in the final column, the restoration mechanism. To make these systems fast enough for real-time use, they rely on pre-computed cancellation masks or noise effects to decode the output, creating the static targets that attackers can exploit. Well, Figure 1 illustrates this process for a single Llama transformer layer secured by TransLink Guard. The large bottom section represents the untrusted hardware handling the heavy lifting, while the green box at the top right is the trusted execution environment. The system uses a lock-and-key approach, where weights are permuted offline. Look at step 1 on the left. Because the input arrives already permuted, the weight permutations cancel out during matrix multiplication. This allows the hardware to perform valid attention calculations without ever accessing the plaintext weights. Finally, steps 6 and 8 show where the trusted execution environment intervenes to encrypt and decrypt data around the feed-forward network. Next, Figure 2 details the integrity mechanism used by systems like Soder. Inside the green trusted execution environment, the system generates a fingerprint, which is essentially a hidden test query. The vulnerability stems from the section labeled P at the top left, which stores a static set of pre-computed base vectors. In step 1, the system combines these vectors to create a dynamic challenge, M'. This challenge is then shuffled with real user data in step 2 so the GPU cannot identify it. Finally, step 5 verifies the returned result. But since those base vectors never change, an attacker can eventually analyze the traffic to distinguish these tests from real user inputs. So, Figure 3 contrasts the safe but slow approach with the fast but vulnerable one. In Panel A, the on-the-fly method requires copying the massive weight matrix W3 into the trusted zone, marked by that red arrow, to calculate noise effects from scratch, which kills performance. Panel B shows the industry standard. Precomputation. Here the system just stores a static table of vectors, N1 through Nk, and mixes them to create the mask. This avoids the heavy lifting, but restricts all noise to a fixed subspace, opening the door to attacks. So Figure 6 quantifies exactly why the industry chooses the vulnerable path. Panel A plots the time to first token, and notice the logarithmic scale on the vertical axis. The red dashed lines represent the secure on-the-fly method, which is drastically slower, often taking hundreds of seconds compared to the solid black lines of the pre-computation strategy. Moving to Panel B, we see the same story for throughput. While the vulnerable method achieves usable speeds, the secure alternative crawls at less than 1 token per second, making it practically unusable for interactive applications. Alright, given that vulnerable design choice, Table 4 reveals just how fast an attacker can actually extract the secrets. Looking at the first row, for a standard Llama 3.8b model, the attack recovers a full layer's parameters in only about 6 minutes. Even for the massive 405b parameter version at the bottom, the process takes just over 100 minutes. This proves the attack scales predictably, with the model dimension, D, making it a highly practical threat. Well, Table 5 confirms the final blow. The stolen model is indistinguishable from the original. Comparing the unprotected baseline in the first row with the attacker reconstructed model in the third, we see identical accuracy on the GSM 8K benchmark at about 82%. Crucially, look at the throughput column. While the secure system in the middle is throttled to 18 tokens per second, the attacker's replica restores full speed to 240. This means the stolen model is actually faster than the protected service, because it bypasses the trusted execution environment entirely. Wrapping up, 2 takeaways stand out. First, the widely used shortcut of precomputing noise to boost speed is a fundamental security flaw that breaks cryptographic safety. Second, this isn't just theoretical. Attackers can fully steal massive proprietary models in minutes using simple algebra. This finding forces a complete rethink of how we secure AI on edge devices without sacrificing performance. That's it for this episode of the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Thanks for listening.